Good morning, everyone. Let's take a look at this. Hello, everyone. Let's make sure that the sound is working well. Yeah, sound is working well. I don't like what's going on here with my. There we go. That looks a lot better. How's everyone doing? Thank you for joining us today. I am Sri Lankan Sammi, retired with mom and dad. I am here on my Sunday Funday. Happy Fun Day Sunday. Let's make some adjustments here. All right. Thanks for joining us today, guys. We're going to talk about today a little ketchup. Ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. A little catch up. It is June, which means it is halfway through 2025. And actually, it means we are now closer to 2030, 2050 than we are than the year 2000. So that's a kind of interesting tidbit there. Yeah, we're halfway through this quarter century. This half century. So we're closer to 2050 than we are to the year 2000. It just seems like yesterday, man. Let me tell you, you hear people saying the good old days, and they don't mean anything. What they mean is, they don't mean anything by it. What they mean is the days that they remember where they had fun. Because as you get older, stress and life start to take over your daily thinking. But I mean, I had stress and drama back in my day. I just don't remember it because you only remember the fun times. I'm so addicted to my Thai sniffer. I love it. So this Friday was the Friday the 13th. It's the only Friday the 13th we have this year. And it's one of my favorite days of the year. I don't know why. I love Friday the 13th. It's always been lucky for me. But it's so interesting that we have a Friday the 13th in June. Because if you take the remaining 5 months, July, August, September, October, November, and you take the first letter of each of those months, you get July, August, September, October, November, Jason. Jason. And if you're as old as I am, you'll remember Jason is the main character in the Friday the 13th movies. So it is a cute coincidence. Anyway, the next Friday the 13th is February, just before Valentine's Day. And I will be not in Sri Lanka, I'll 99% be in Cebu. I still haven't decided on where I'm going on vacation. I can't decide. We're going to talk about that. Welcome to the show, guys. I'm Sri Lankan Sammi. I'm a retired Canadian citizen, Sri Lankan citizen, living in, I was going to say Seoul, South Korea, in Sri Lanka. Spent the last 18 years in Seoul, South Korea. And I left 3 years ago to semi-retire here, work online. Work it's not killing me, but it's getting there. I need to take a break. I was planning on taking a trip for 3 or 4 days next week to rent a motorcycle, get a hotel for 3 or 4 days and just do a staycation. But the problem is that the weather is just not cooperating. It's no use going if it's going to rain every day, which it's been doing. Very unsettled weather. And, the money is not an issue. It's just I don't want to spend money and just sit in the room all day. And then driving down there, I could easily just get the driver to drive me down, but Yeah, I like an adventure. So kind of scrap that idea because we have to upgrade the solar power system. We got a new solar power guy, and he has suggested that we spend money on some more batteries because that will help solve the problem we're having of not having enough capacity. It's not an issue of the number of panels. We've got enough panels. We've got 6 panels. The issue is that we don't have enough battery capacity to last the night, which is when I need electricity. So here's the situation. So we have the main power coming from Salon electricity board. So we call those the main, or the main electricity. So the main electricity is on 24 hours a day. If it goes out during the daytime, the solar power kicks in and can power the house, as long as we don't use the microwave or the washing machine or anything like that. There's enough electricity generated by the panels between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. with reasonable sunlight that can power the house without using the battery. Now, in cloudy weather like today, 50-50. At night, the battery runs for about 2 to 4 hours, depending on how much electricity we use. So if the power goes out at night, we have about 2 to 4 hours of electricity. So what I want is 24-hour availability of electricity. So that's what I told the guy. During the daytime, I want the system to charge itself, and any excess goes into the house, so we're not paying for electricity. And at night, by 4 p.m., I want the battery fully charged, and I want the system to hold a charge for at least the night. So he said, okay, we can set up a system where you turn off the solar power at whatever time you want, so that you're running on the main system, the paid service. And then, like, say around before you go to bed at 8 o'clock, you turn on the batteries. So now the house is run on batteries for the night, and then you turn it off for those 2 or 3 hours where the solar power system is not being charged, but the main system is still operating. And then when you go to sleep, you turn on the batteries, because that's when I am I go to bed around 6 or 7 p.m. local time. And then I wake up later on to do classes, right? So it's that time that I need electricity. So, I mean, if I can go downstairs and turn on the solar power system to utilize the batteries at night, or Rutland City can do it in the morning. It doesn't really matter. I want that option of having electricity if we don't have electricity, which is what occurred a week or two ago when we had that windstorm and knocked out power across the island. And we were out of power for 6 hours at night. Now, it didn't really affect me, but it could have, had it gone on a little longer. So we're going to spend about $1,000 to get a whole whack of batteries. So that is because when we originally got this system 3 years ago, we got the wrong inverter, we got the wrong everything. To do it today is just not worth it. So this is a Band-Aid solution. The other thing is so we're doing a little news update now, okay? So stick with me, boys and girls. I bought a new coffee maker. The coffee maker I have is about 3 years old, and it's starting to not perform as well because it was a cheap one. It was $50. So I splurged and I went like $300 and I bought a nice one. It has a built-in cleaning system. It has a built-in grinder, which I have discovered is the most important thing. I bought a whole bunch of accessories. So, a tapper, a station to put everything on so it's not on the table. Like you put your portafilter in there and, holds all the accessories. Um, so I bought a whole bunch of new accessories and stuff like that, and new coffee maker. So that's my one vice, is online shopping. I wanted to get a new computer, and then I said no. I talked myself out of getting a new computer. Um, I'm gonna probably wait a couple years to do that, and even then, I'm probably not. I'm gonna stick with this one because in a couple years, I'm not gonna need a computer, a powerful one, like I do right now. Another thing about the solar power is that I want it to be more efficient, is because the electricity tariffs have gone up by 15% a couple days ago. So, the electricity is more expensive now. Stock market is up. Oh, Jesus, ridiculous. It was down the last couple of days, like 2%. My portfolio fell by about 2%. But still, I'm still at over 57% profit. And I was talking about this last time. It could drop by 50%. If it drops by 50%, there's something fundamentally wrong with the country. And I have more to worry about than the drop in my portfolio. Okay. But yeah, it is doing very, very well. It is profit taking. I'm seeing that. It's always profit. It goes up, and then it profit takes, and then goes up, and then it profit takes, up, but it keeps going up. And it's not just one stock, it's all of my stocks are going up. And like when one goes up, the other one goes down, and then it switches, but they all keep going up. It used to be my banking stock that was doing very, very well. Now it's my telecom stock is outperforming my banking stock. It's just a waiting game, and that's the thing. I love it. I'm going to be doing an in-depth report on the taxes, income tax in Sri Lanka, because the government has now mandated that every citizen gets a tax information number. And that tax information number is like your national identity number. So you have to have two numbers now. National identity number, which is your like social insurance number or your social security number, whatever you want to call it. It's your permanent number. The tax identification number then is on top of that, which is now going to force you to file a tax return. I haven't filed a tax return since I've been here because, number one, it wasn't mandated. Number two, I wasn't a resident. I was a citizen, but not a resident. Now I'm a resident because I live here more than 183 days a year, so more than 6 months. But my income, and here's where the problem is occurring. My Sri Lankan income is less than 1.8 million rupees a year, which is about 6,000 US dollars. But my foreign income is much greater than that. So I've been speaking with a new contact, which Darren provided me at this company, and he is doing some excellent work in mitigating my tax liability. So I had a meeting with him earlier this week, and things went well. We logged in we talked about my opportunity. It was all done online too. We did it on Zoom. So we logged in to my inland revenue, which is the IRS or Canada Revenue, depending. So the government website, logged in, set up an account, and prepared to file. So I had to wait to get a filing number from them. So that email has gone through, waiting for that. I'll send it to him and then we'll file. And then we will work on a plan to mitigate my liabilities moving forward, because I'm going to be transferring a lot of money over the next 2 years to Sri Lanka. And I know, Darren, you have you have opinions on it, but I have to. I don't want my money in Korea, right? And I have no place else to put it. Okay, I need to have access to my cash. All right. What I do with it is that's going to be a plan in the future. But I mean, it's going to be invested, but I have to leave my cash in Sri Lanka. I can't leave it in Korea because I am no longer a visa holder in South Korea. So that in the event anything occurs with my money, I need to be able to access it. Yeah. Yeah, he's right. Like I got a really good feeling from talking with him. So I've spoken with him twice. I spoke with him on the phone, and then when we did it online, the guy is young and hungry and smart. So I really, really like him. Thank you so much, Darren, for hooking us up. So I'm sorry to hear that your flights were canceled. I hope you guys have because I think you mentioned that you're bringing your adult kids with you this time, your two sons. So that was the issue, that coordinating all of that. So I'm sorry about that. I was looking forward to seeing you, and I mean, I'll see you when I see you. Don't worry about that. If you can't make it this time, you'll make it when you make it, and then we'll hang out. And I looked up that nature reserve boat trip that you were talking about. Wow, that looked amazing. I'm looking forward to that when you do get here. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a in-depth report on what my taxes are like. I mean, it's going to be different for each person, but the focus of this channel is retiring and what happens to the money that you bring into the country. Now, obviously, there are things that you need to do with your tax preparer in your country, and the tax preparer here has to have access to your tax laws in your country, or has to be cognizant of those tax laws, the tax treaties, the pension treaties between the two countries. So for example, Canada has a pension treaty with Sri Lanka, which means that pensions are exempt from taxes. So when you import that money, you don't pay taxes. South Korea and Sri Lanka also have a pension treaty, but they don't have an income treaty or an MOU, or it's very complicated. So you need to, I'm not an expert, you need to talk to your tax guy in your country and make sure they are able to have the relevant laws available to your tax guy here in Sri Lanka. Yes, I am live. Thank you so much for joining, Mirko. Mirko, I'm going to suggest that you are in Italy, if I recall. So correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Let me know where you're calling from, and thank you for joining. I truly, truly appreciate it, okay? Every time you guys make a comment or click the like button, please click the like button, okay? Please click the like button. I truly appreciate that. I mean, brother, Mirko, your last name is very Italian, so it's very Italian sounding. So, prego. I used to speak fluent Italian, but I forget it. It's been 40 years since I spoke Italian. So, but I swear to you, if I went to Italy today and I lived there for like 3 or 4 months, it would come back to me like that. Thank you so much for joining us. So yeah, the tax situation, okay, is going to be unique to me because I'm Canadian and my income is coming from South Korea. So I'm going to have to like report about that. But the experience is going to be relevant because I'm importing money into Sri Lanka. So I'm going to be able to talk about that. Okay. Can't wait to have you back here, brother. I'm going to be here. So when you do get here, let's have a coconut together. Okay. And some string and some egg hoppers. All right. Now, speaking of living in Sri Lanka, I cannot decide where and when to go on vacation. I need to get out. I see, the thing is, I have to go on vacation every 6 months. Otherwise, I lose my mind. I mean, I sit in this desk 8 hours a day. I don't go outside. And I know I don't go outside because I'm vitamin D deficient. I have to take vitamin D supplements because I don't go outside. I don't get enough sunlight. The only time I go out is to go shopping, go to the doctor, and I'll do a lot of my stuff online. And also my schedule, my work schedule is killing me. So what, I also like, I need to like get out and meet my friends and do the things that I love to do. If I had access to a pool or to a beach where I could socialize with people, that would make it a little bit easier on my brain, on my soul. But it doesn't bother me for the first 3 or 4 months. It's when it gets to the 5th and 6th month that I start to go crazy. So I returned in February, so March, April, May, June. So we're at the 4th month now. Now is when I start to go a little crazy. And, I'm supposed to go away in August, September. It's not happening this year because of the schedule. And the way the calendar works, it would have been October. And the problem is that the prices are just ridiculous. Lady Sarah can't afford it. She can't afford it to travel. The price tickets are hugely increased because of the length of the vacation. 2 holidays have merged into one, and it's a 14-day, like 12-day holiday. So she said, we'll have to look at February, which is the next holiday for her. She can't do Christmas. She doesn't get vacation time in Christmas. Not enough vacation time. And again, the prices would be ridiculous. So I'm thinking, okay, now what am I going to do? So I said, okay, well, I can go in February, not a problem. Well, why don't I take an extra month and go earlier? Well, if I go in January, the prices are higher. Why don't I go in December? Well, wait a minute. Why don't I just go in November? And then I'm thinking back and forth. Okay, so why don't I spend 1 month? Because minimum you should spend in Thailand is 1 month to be legal because of the hotel thing. They don't rent for less than 30 days. Well, Airbnb and like outside of hotels. And then the rest of the time I can spend in Cebu with my friend, near my friend, Tim. You guys have seen him before. And I can start to do that exploration that I talk about, which is like exploring new cities and new places to see, is this someplace I can live long term? And you can't go on vacation. You have to spend months there. So working backwards from February 15th is when February 13th, when Lady Sarah can arrive. And we would go to Bohol for 2 weeks. I found a place in Bohol. It's cheap. It's very nice. We can just sit on the beach and go snorkeling and scuba diving every day and eat food. Just enjoy each other's company. So working backwards on 30-day cycles, because that's the visa in Philippines, works me back to beginning of December 5th or 6th, which means 30 days from that is November. Or I can go November to Cebu, and then October, I can go to Thailand. I want to do Thailand for a month. So I'm thinking October to November, Thailand, November till March in Philippines. And I found a place in the Philippines, and I got the price down to about $650 US a month. A 2-bedroom pool condo, 10 minutes from the beach, with electricity and everything included. No. Yeah. In Cebu, everything included, and an office with a chair. And right across the street from 7-Eleven and a fruit market, and down the road from a shopping, like a grocery store, and 10 minutes to the one of the most beautiful beaches in Mactan Island. So it's in Mactan New Town, which is on the northeast side where all the hotels are, and 10 minutes from the airport. But it's not in Cebu City. It's in Lapu-Lapu City, or Mactan Island, on the northeast side. So I'd have to rent a scooter to get me around, and I'd spend a few months there, 3, 4, 5 months. I mean, I did it before. I did it before 2 years ago in Subic Bay. So it'll be an adventure. Is it more than I'm willing to spend? It's an investment. And I'm making more now with the new job. I just killed it this last week. Brought in a lot of business. So doing well. It's getting a lot easier. My boss is like, even though he's like, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. He is very happy with the effort I'm putting in, because he can hear it. He listens to the phone calls after the fact, because he has to listen to them to be ready for when he talks to them. So he gives me constructive criticism on how to do the script better. But he says, every time I give you advice, you incorporate it. You're making the effort to get better and better. And he appreciates that. I don't need like constant affirmation, but to know that he appreciates me, and it's just me and him in the company, right? It's just me and him, and then the trainers. He has 2 trainers plus him, but bringing in the business, it's just me and him. So he said, I want you to eventually become a salesman, so I need you to like learn this stuff about the product, because you can't sell it if you don't understand the product. The product's pretty serious. But he says, yeah, I was just talking with my wife and saying how quickly you're adapting. And when we were discussing bringing somebody on, the fear was, how much time is it going to take this person to ramp up? And you've done very, very well. I was like, hey, thank you so much. Mirko, how much should we save to retire in Sri Lanka? Me and my wife already have a house there. Yeah, that's a good question, brother. That is a great question. And the answer is, I don't know. I can give you a budget, but that's based on my lifestyle, not yours. Okay? So I'm going to say it's conservatively, it's only 20% of what you're spending right now. If you're in Italy and you're spending $1,000 US, you would spend 200 here. Okay? Now, do you need a car? Do you need a driver? Those are expensive, like a car. If you hire a driver, it's not that expensive. When you need a driver, you get an Uber or Pick Me, but like we own a car, which was very expensive to get. And then we pay a salary to a driver. The salaries to employees is very cheap here. I'm going to get into that next month as well, like the cost of living. I can't give you the numbers because I don't have the numbers right now, and I don't want to guess. But I'm going to tell you that from my calculations, if you own your own house and you don't have to pay rent, you have to pay electricity, internet, gas, food, and basic transportation. I'm excluding medical, okay? But basic transportation and stuff like that, no vacations or anything, and food. And I'm going to give you a link to a amazing Italian store here in Colombo that has the best chorizo and prosciutto and Italian sauces and everything like that. Yeah, I'm underestimating it, and here's why, and that's why I'm saying I don't want to give the cost of living. And I'm a Westerner. I lived in South Korea, one of the most expensive countries in the world. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I know what the cost of living is, and that's the thing. You come here, don't eat Western food. Eat the local food. You come here to live the cost of living reduction that comes with the benefit. Like, I mean, unless you can afford it, then go ahead and eat Western food all the time. But I'm not interested in that. I mean, I buy a nice Australian frozen steak from this store that I found, Lux Colombo, Luxe Colombo. This is the second steak I bought from them, and it was spectacular. I've bought steaks online. I bought steaks from Keel's. I bought steaks from Spar and everything, and doesn't even come close. So, yeah, she is. I am so spoiled. I have a video coming up talking about servants in Sri Lanka and how much is done for me. My room is cleaned for me. My laundry is done for me. My cooking is done for me. My cleaning is done for me. Everything is done for me. The business that I'm working for is a company called Strength Physiotherapy, and it is a former Olympic weightlifter who became a physiotherapist and trains people to overcome pain and injury that they have suffered through targeted solutions to their training schedule. Not standard physiotherapy. He doesn't have to see you to do it. And he's been very successful in doing it online. He has clients all over the world. I'm actually speaking to a potential client in Australia right now. So he does it all online. And the beautiful thing about it is that it's in your pocket. And whereas going to a physiotherapist is one of the things that you can drop when your schedule gets too busy, having him online right in front of you every day is powerful motivation. And that's the thing, Mirko. If you're going to take the adventure, if you're going to take the challenge of moving to a new country, to take advantage of the cost of living, part of that is the food, or the main part. The main part is the food. When I go to Philippines or Thailand, all I do is buy the fruit in the fruit stand. And then I eat at the local restaurants. Now, I have never had food poisoning, knock on wood. But that's probably because I live in Sri Lanka and I eat Sri Lankan food. And the trick to eating foreign food is to have a lot of spice. That kills a lot of the bacteria. That's why the food is spicy. It kills the bacteria. Mirko, they do the physiotherapy they do it on their own, but it's targeted, and the exercises, and these are not just for people like me who are not training. These are for people who are motivated trainers. These are like athletes, people who go to the gym 5 times a week, people who are exercising, who are into sports. Okay. motivated people who are interested in overcoming any pain or injury that they have to get back into training. So it's a very specific niche of people. We don't do like seniors or under 18, obviously for liability reasons, but it's a very targeted thing, and it's very interesting. I don't mean it kills the bacteria, but I mean, it does something. It does something. I saw some report about eating food with or without spice. And let me tell you something. If you ate my mom's pork curry, you wouldn't say bad taste. But anyway, I do occasionally eat foreign food, maybe once a month. Once a week I'll pizza and burger or chicken, Taco Bell, Burger King, KFC, Pizza Hut. Those are our 4 go-tos. If the cook can't make it and we don't have any food prepared, we'll order something in. I spend about $40 a week. Yeah, Darren, losing that much weight I've had food poisoning. No, have I ever had food poisoning? I had food poisoning once in the Philippines. And the thing was that was at a I ate Western food, not Filipino food. And it all comes back. It does, brother. It does. So yeah, I can't decide where I'm going to go. But I am going to go to the Philippines for a while to explore Cebu. And one of the reasons I want to explore Cebu is because I've never been. I've been on vacation, but I've never lived there. And my friend Tim lives there, and he says it's 1 billion times better than Subic, and I can have a decent life there. Because he knows my personality. We've been friends for 10 years. Okay, we've lived together, so he understands my psychology and what I like. He knows what I like from a lifestyle, from a social style, and from a location style. I'm a bit of a princess. I like a comfortable home. I like to be near the beach. I like to be able to go and socialize with people when I want to, like near the nightlife and stuff like that. Mirko, you're in a perfect time to call, because Darren has an amazing business, and you guys should, Darren, I should interview you one time about your company. He's got a company. I don't want to explain it because I don't understand it, but it's in the solar power field here in Sri Lanka. So Darren will talk about it. Yeah, coconut business is doing very well here in Sri Lanka. That's a good business, but you have to do it from the inside. You can't come in here as a newbie and try to figure it out. You have to have somebody on the inside to tell you where to go, because there's a lot of scammy kind of investment ventures here. Now, I am investing using a broker, very smart guy that I was hooked up to from another family member who, just like Darren introduced me to a good tax guy, another friend introduced me to a great broker who's super smart, super hungry to move up in his business. So everyone, these guys are in the business to make money. Now, the more money that their clients make, the more money they're going to invest. There are scammy guys out there, but this guy's been in it for a while and he's been profitable. So he's made me money. He's made me tons of money. He's made me 40% more than what I would have made this year. And should have taken his advice and put a bigger tranche in at the beginning, but now we're on the top of the upswing. So Just going to invest in a mutual fund with him next year. If I get 10%, I'll be happy. But his mutual fund this year made 82% so far this year. So, last year his mutual fund made a ridiculous amount of money, but the year before it was flat because of the financial problems. But anyway, he's a smart kid. Yeah, your father-in-law, yeah, knows all about pol. Pol is the Sri Lankan word for coconut, and that's definitely an area where, again, I'm not a financial guy. I don't know anything, but from what I've seen on the export market, and the cost of coconut has been going up. To buy coconut is ridiculous now. Like, I remember being able, prior to the financial crisis, coconuts were like 20-25 rupees. Now they're upwards of 50 to 80 rupees for a coconut. For king coconuts. I don't know about scraping coconuts, but the king coconuts, the Tambili or the coconut water ones, are triple the price from just 2 years ago. So, yeah. Yeah, his mutual fund did very well. Very, very well. I mean, my stock portfolio is 58% today. It was 60% 2 days ago on Wednesday, and on Friday it dropped 2%. But I mean, 60% is pretty good for just personal stocks. His mutual fund is across the Sri Lankan top 20. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying there are opportunities here. Are they still available today? Who knows? Darren is always the one who says, you never know what's going to happen. But so far in the last 2.5 years, knock on wood, nothing bad has happened to any of my investments. They've all gone up. So, but I think it's best if you came here and you brought your money here, is to first of all speak to a tax accountant here, so that they can advise you the best way to mitigate your exchange, your tax liabilities, and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly, Darren. Yeah, that I was asking Desmond about that, why the prices are going up, and he says because the weather. The weather's been real bad. The farming is real bad. I want to try to get out to a rice farm, a paddy field farm, and show you the planting and harvesting, but it's really difficult to coordinate that because they do it very quickly, and to get out there, it's not easy. So I was supposed to do a tour of a fireworks factory, but Desmond's in love. Desmond's married now. His wife is here. He's busier. So I want to wrap up today's show because I have to get back to work, and I want to eat some lunch before I get back to work. Is the final two things is that I want to talk about. This somebody asked me online was, why am I still single, and why I talk about Lady Sarah, and you guys see Lady Sarah in my life a lot, and why she's so special to me. So I'm still single because the main reason is I love the independence I have. I absolutely love the fact that I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, and not have to discuss it with anyone. I don't have to get buy-in from everyone, or agreement from anyone, or sharing from anyone. If I want to go, I go. If I want to do, I do. If I don't, I don't. Number two, if I were to be involved in a relationship, it would not be fair to that person for two reasons. Number one, I will not have children. Number two, I will not compromise. Yes, a relationship is a partnership, a compromise, but I'm not interested in doing that. And I know that. So I don't want to subject another human being to my insanity. I've lived alone for way too long to give that up. And I understand that. Miracle, thank you so much, brother. It's always a pleasure to talk to my subscribers, okay? Brother, if you can, please comment on a video, click the like button, share my channel with anyone. Like, you can really help my channel by liking and putting a small comment on every single one of my videos, because that will show that you are interested in my content, and then YouTube will take that and put it in front of another person who is just like you, who might be interested in my content. Okay, not just random people, but people like you who are interested in this type of material. If you notice, if you like Google coffee makers, you'll see commercials on YouTube for coffee makers. If you Google, Cebu, you'll see vacation videos. If you start looking at Cebu City YouTube channel and you start clicking on people who are enjoying YouTube, who are vlogging about Cebu, you'll get others being recommended in your feed. So that's what I'm hoping that you can help me with, okay? Appreciate your time, truly. So Lady Sarah and I have a special relationship. I mean, we did date long time ago, at the beginning of our friendship. I met her about 10 years ago. She was a teacher at a school I worked at. And after I left that school, she was coming in as I was leaving. So we worked together for a few months, and in that time we dated. She had just arrived in Korea. She was young. She's about 24-ish, I would say, 23, 24. And after I left the school, we stayed friends, but she was working too much. It was very difficult to see her. I would see her about once a month on average. And on holidays and stuff like that, we would hang out or whatever, whenever and then, obviously I'm working at the club. I can't really go out. Most of the times we'd see each other Sunday nights. We'd go out for dinner and hang out on Sunday nights. That's the only free time she had. It's the only free time I had. And we would eat. So that's where we grew of our shared love of eating good food. And because our relationship had developed and past the physical stage, and it had developed into emotional, I'm not going to say love, but trust. We developed an honest trust relationship because it was not based on physical. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, there was some relationship stuff going on, but that wasn't the main reason. That was just I don't want to use the word benefit, but it was there. So it was just, so we're adults, and we're grown adults, but it was more it wasn't the fact like, oh, you're coming over and that wasn't the thing. It was more about spending time together, eating good food, and just like being in each other's presence. And it was only for a short time. I mean, it was only like 4 hours or something like that. But the time that we spent together was always so much fun. Like, we would talk and eat, and we would like talk about the food and like planning to get the food. And sometimes she would come over and we would order in. Sometimes we would go out to a restaurant. It all depended on the weather and how tired we were. But she was always in tune with me. And then I left Korea. And she was one of the last people I saw before I left Korea. She was in the 3 people that I had saw before I left Korea. I saw her like 4 or 5 times before I left Korea. Because at that time I lived 5 minutes away from her. I lived in Gangnam at that time. And during COVID, we spent a lot of time together because, there's nothing else to do. So we developed a trust, and she is very socially private. Even though she has a YouTube channel, she doesn't like her privacy exposed. Now, she doesn't mind it on here because my audience is not Korean anymore. So her friends won't see, because they judge, right? Because of the age and everything like that, they will judge her. And she's very religious. So she doesn't want any of that private stuff out there. Although it is. She doesn't want it on my Facebook or my Instagram because there's still a few people that might see it. But YouTube, she says, yeah, that's okay. Just kind of hide my face in the background. So when I went on vacation, I had the 2-bedroom. And I said, anyone can come. So she came. And she had a fantastic time. She'd never been snorkeling, never been on, doing the trips and stuff like that. And she loved it. Then the second time we went to Krabi, and the third time we went to Vietnam. So now we're doing it like 2 times a year. We're going on vacation. This time, unfortunately, 1 time. Next year, we're going to probably do 2 times. But she loves the fact that we vacation together. And she says, because there's a trust in there. And here's how much I know she trusts me. I have access to her YouTube, number 1. I have access to her email. I have her email password. I have her phone password. Okay? I can access her phone and see everything on her phone when we're on vacation because, do you want me to take pictures of you with your phone? Yeah, please, because she loves the pictures I take. She says, you're such a good photographer. And so I have the passcode to her phone. I can look at it whenever I want. She doesn't care. Oh yeah, Sarah, can I get some of those pictures? Yeah, just take my phone, send it to you. Just Kakao it, WhatsApp it or whatever. I have access to her email address because she wants me to book the flights and everything like that. So she sends me the money, and then I book the flights for our trips. So I have to have her email address so that I can do it. I have her credit card information so that I pay for it. Sometimes with her credit card, sometimes I pay for it. It all depends on what she wants to do. But she wants me to do the work because she doesn't I'm the organizer. I know which flight to take. I know what luggage to get. I know what seat to get. She doesn't know how to research. Well, she does. She just doesn't want to do it. She says, I enjoy doing it. I said, I enjoy doing it. Let me do it for you. So there's a trust. I've seen videos before where there's 2 people. It's all fake because nobody takes video of them sitting next to each other like this and reaching over and grabbing their phone. It's set up. But you'll see a couple, and the guy will reach over to grab a napkin or something, and the phone is right next to it, and the girl will grab the phone, and then the guy will look like, I wasn't reaching for your phone. And then it's the trust thing, right? There's 100% trust. And how many couples do you know that, not married couples, but not married couples who have their phone password? I have her email password. I have all pictures of her ID. I have her login IDs and passwords for her banking information. All of that stuff. And we're not in a relationship. We're just friends. It's because of the trust. So That's why she is special to me. That's why she is in my life, because she has access to my phone. I mean, not my bank account information, but she's on my will. Her and Princess Jasmine and Johnny. There's nobody else who I want to give my money to. My brother doesn't need it, and my parents don't. Well, they, knock on wood, I'll live longer than they will. But the she has, that Google has this thing where if your account is dormant for more than 3 months and you don't log in and reply, it goes to your executor. Now, in my will, my passwords are already set up for them to access my accounts, but also in there you can put someone's email address, and it's Sarah and Princess Jasmine, those two. Jasmine is going to be the executor of my estate because she has more time to do it. Sarah doesn't. I know she doesn't. And she doesn't need the money. She's not getting a lot of it. It's going to be split mostly with Johnny, 50% with Johnny and 25% for each of them. Or maybe 20 and then like 10% to like a charity or something like that to offset the tax. I'm going to speak with the lawyer to figure that out, because it'll be all in Sri Lanka at that time. The YouTube channel profits, that'll continue. My portfolio profits will continue. My pension, that has to be stopped. I wonder what would happen if my pension kept coming and I didn't notify Canada that I had died. How do they not know that you died unless you tell them, right? I never thought of that, but there's got to be safeguards in place to prevent that kind of fraud, right? There has to be. So anyway, that's the story that I have, guys, for today. Oh, wonderful, Darren. That's great. I didn't even know you had YouTube. Why don't you post your YouTube channel here, please? I think you did send it to me. I think I am, but I don't remember it. Can you please post your YouTube channel ID or name here so that everyone can join and see what it is that you're doing here in Sri Lanka? Because I always talk about you. I mean, you're my #1 fan. You and a few others are in the top there. So please do that when you can. So I'm going to wrap things up today, guys. I have to get ready for work. I want to get something to eat before. And the medicine that I'm taking is working very, very, very well. All right, brother. I mean, if anybody wants information on investing in Sri Lanka, I can hook you up with Darren. You guys can talk about that with him offline. The medicine that I'm taking that was given to me by the orthopedic surgeon is working very well. My arm feels 100% better. I mean, the pain was only at a 2, now it's at a 0. I don't feel anything. There's no issues. And my arm feels stronger. I used to not be able to do this without pain, and now no problem. So the inflammation has gone down. It's only been 2 days. So I have 2 weeks of this medication. So let's see how that goes. But if you guys have any advice on what I should do about Cebu and Pattaya, I'm 99% going to go to Thailand and then Cebu. It's just when am I going to go? And it all depends in the next 2 weeks on the part-time job I have in the UK and the new contract I have coming in. How much money am I going to make? And then, because if I'm working more, there's no reason to go longer, because I'm just going to be sitting in the room the whole day working. There's no benefit. I might as well just stay here and do it here. But then on the weekends, I'm not working, I can go out, which when I'm working that job, it's going to add so much stress to my life. Especially July, August, September will be the hardest months of that job. October, November, December, everything slows down. Because the way the contract works is like a 40-hour contract for the students. They have to complete 40 hours in 6 months or something like that, or 80 hours or something. So I get them to do all their hours at the beginning, so that at the end, it's not that crazy where they're trying to catch up and do they do 2 hours a week every week. If I get them doing 3 hours a week at the beginning, it slows down on the back end, and I can take a break, which is October, November, December, when I'm on vacation, right? So that's what I'm hoping for. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. Again, it's always a pleasure. I'm always loving how you guys interact with me. And that's why I do the live stream. The live stream is every Sunday and every Wednesday. Videos go up on Monday and Friday, and shorts are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So just please do me a favor, click on the shorts and click the link on the shorts to send you to the video. That way it generates data on the algorithm. Truly appreciate it, guys. Remember, learn to live life. Don't let life live you. I'm Sri Lankan Sammi, retired with mom and dad. Please be good to each other. And remember, we are not strangers. We're just friends who haven't met yet. Thanks again, guys. Have a great week.